Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Whilst the video that I did yesterday was very critical and important, today we continue it on from the afterthoughts, what went down last night, what people have had to say since, more so from the comment section, and just read a bit, and I can add on my thoughts too. Welcome to anyone that is currently here watching this live premiere. Be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. And if you want to drop a comment down below at the end of watching today's video, feel free to do so. You can leave a comment regarding a question, an afterthought. If you want to elaborate on any previous points, just, feel free to do it. It will help with spreading the awareness too. Down below will be a pinned message with additional links by me, such as channel membership, if you wanted the link to that, or if you want to support the channel in alternative ways, it's all available. Just want to say, I don't know if it's too early on in this video, but massive shout out to the odd person here and there for supporting the channel. Very good of them, much appreciated. And for anyone else that simply wants to catch up on recent coverage by me and past videos, top right corner of the screen where the eye symbol is, if you click up there, you get the full playlist and the video from last night. The order of how we'll do things today, I'm going to start off with the YouTube comment section. Take in mind that the timing of me recording this video, more comments and responses may come later. I'm aware that there might be the odd few Facebook post which repost comments from my channel or so to spread awareness of other issues at hand, and I will take a look at that and acknowledge those posts as well. But let's just focus on one thing at a time. It's one of those moments where a particular event and some material has sparked all kinds of responses and maybe some counterpoints too. Whether it leads to any conflict or not, it means there is more to work with and look at. So over the course of the maybe next few days, I just try and catch up on external things, whether that be from Facebook, from my own channel, and make sense of what's going on. Once again, to reiterate my stance on such as that Snapchat post, when you look at it at face value, it doesn't do any favours for Caden Pressey. It kind of puts him in a awkward position. As for the general public that once looked up to Caden Pressey, now seeing this, could feel a little disappointed. But if there is any counter evidence to the original counter material, well, I'll acknowledge that in the future. But at this moment in time, there just isn't. So we work with what we've got. And that's pretty much it. So let's just head on to YouTube now and see what people have had to say. Here we are. And I just go across to select the latest. I think there was about 134 comments, which is actually really good in a short space of time. And more will follow likely. I don't know if we'll have time today, but I think there was another previous comment thread where Alicia Lee was commenting on. I don't know if it was the last video or the one before that. But to kick things off right now, we've got, I keep saying Nana Bentley. She says, thank you for making a video over this. So glad you are finally covering this topic. And yeah, it's just one of those moments where it's the right place, the right time, the material to some extent is available. So one might as well make a video on it. And as long as there's not too many limitations, restrictions or backlash, it should be okay. And up to now it has been. So that's all good. And credit for those, either passing on a message or credit to those for passing on the material. And that doesn't just apply here. It can apply anytime and even in the future. Do it in a controlled way, bit by bit, break it down as well. Get a better understanding and perspective, and then present that to other people. And if it's presented and worded correctly, other people that may normally resist against it might actually see it in a different perspective, and it could help more people with time. Who knows? We got Sherry, very good video, Raf. Thank you for sharing this. You're welcome. Lisa, yes, this is an excellent video, putting it all together, summarising it. Glad to hear, because of course, there's a lot of depth to this case, but being able to summarise it here and there goes a long way, and it gets just a little bit easier at times. It depends how well the topics and themes link up. in terms of timelines, trying to learn them over the period, and then some new details along the way, and counter evidence and photos. If it slips into the timeline just right, it's just easier for the flow. We got Michelle, great job. You're welcome. Appreciate that. Michelle, the photo can be an older photo or video shared on Snap, so the time it's shared is showing not necessarily the time it's taken. See the response. Nana says, that is not true. If you upload a picture stored on your phone or on an old Snap, it will say how old the picture is in the top left corner of the Snap. Okay, there we go. Safia, sorry, but I don't find Jack to be credible. Okay, fair enough. Because, see, at the end of the day, there'll be people out there that will say, I don't believe Jack, but I believe Caden Pressey. And it will be the other way around, vice versa. But then you might get other people in between that say, I don't trust Jack's timeline. I don't trust him. But equally, I don't trust Caden Pressey's. That's interesting. So people that think that way, who do you trust? Are you looking beyond those two individuals and thinking about the importance of the other partygoers and what their timelines could be, where they weigh up? What a convoluted mess it is. Because even just with the focus of last night between Caden Pressey and Jack Newton, that itself is a case in its own right. You call it a mystery, true crime related, anything else in between. Trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong, or if both are wrong, Caden, Jack, ins and out, the intricacies, that's pretty weird, I think I said that wrong. All the little details and the delicate nature of it. And then you've got to take into account that there's many other partygoers as well, and they've not even been looked into to the same extent with a magnifying glass. Safia, Renee Millan, the mother, shouldn't have been removing any guns from the house. True. It's interesting the attitude by Renee, as in, right, guys, there is no point in any of you moving cans or stuff like that because the police will already know you've been having a party. So there's no point trying to cover it up. They will know. Oh, but you think it's easy to slip those firearms away? Ah, interesting. So that's an interesting attitude by Renee Millan, as in, keep the cans, but the guns, they can go, because whilst the police will know you've had a party, they're not going to know about the guns being present as well. Why would Renee care so much about the firearms? Oh, so they get returned back to their rightful owners. At least from what Caden Pressey had to say, is that the firearms, one belonged to Isaac Rojas, which was the 12-gauge shotgun. The other one, a hunting rifle, belonged to Brylan Sweat. And then the last one belonging to Jack Newton. Now, out of the 3 firearms, 2 of which, Isaac's and Brylan's, were on site at the party house, and both of the owners were on site too. Why would Renee need to take the guns away from the owners who are at the house to then return them back to the owners at a later point? Makes no sense. As for Jack's firearm, I don't know if he left it at the house or he took it with him, because there was a story at some point saying he locked it in his own vehicle. Was that the same vehicle he used to get to the highway? Well, then he would have it on him, supposedly. And furthermore, does it seem over-exaggerated or underestimated, underwhelming about the number of firearms present at the party? 3 or 4? What about the other 40 partygoers? Well, the other 30 or so. What about that? And even if Renee's mindset was, there's no point moving the cans because the police will know you've had a party, you might get questioned about it. But as for the firearms, yeah, be able to sneak that away. Well, that's incorrect by Renee. I guess unknown to her at the time. You had that party footage from Caden Pressey's point of view of Brylan slapping Noah and Isaac in the background, clearly holding a bloody 12-gauge shotgun. So that gives it away as well, blows one's cover. So there's no point moving the guns. Keep them where they are. Treat it as potential evidence. If there's a certain place where Noah was last seen at, it should be kept as it is and then looked into, but unfortunately that didn't happen. We got Sherry, great video ref, appreciate that. You're welcome. Tammy says, Raf, why couldn't you share the photos? Could you be sued by doing so? Maybe not sued, but it might cause issues down the line. And you got to acknowledge that just to an extent, within reason, you may have to respect some people's wishes along the way. Because if you do twist or turn so abruptly and harshly, yes, it can cause more trust issues, and there's already enough of that in the casing community already. Don't want to contribute more to that problem or become that problem. But secondly, establish some kind of understanding, some kind of basic connection, so then maybe down the line in the future, if there is more material, counter evidence, to put things into a greater perspective and to enable you as a viewer to see it yourself, things just have to follow a certain order, and you never know what may happen next. As long as there's a level of control as well and balance, it should be okay. So yeah, the video last night and the material provided was great in value and interesting. Whether or not everyone agreed with it, fair enough, that's fine. And then it makes you wonder, I wonder what else is out there. I wonder what other photos or videos could exist which may depict someone's timeline as being correct or incorrect. And just filling in the grey areas, because there'll be a lot of questions along the way. If it's done in the correct order and a level of discipline, it might lead to more chances. It's what's happened in the past where things have gone wrong with other people, whether it be sharing things in a way, or someone decides to go rogue and turn on others. It just breaks down that rapport. It breaks down any chances of learning along the way. But it might be different for other people because it's singular atoms, whereas with me, and with having a channel and people that watch, more people that can be exposed to new material. So if it's done correctly, who knows what could happen next. Tammy says, I was wondering why the faces were blurred. After rewatching from the beginning, I found out my question. Good to know. Robbie, thanks for the continued coverage on Noah Wallite Ref. This was a really good one. I appreciate that. That's good to know. The other one that was done, which was quite deep but controlled, was the Dropbox and the text conversations there. Safia says, I still think the timestamp is altered on the photo, and why would Caden lie about Mikey being there? There were witnesses that would have seen Mikey with Caden at the site where Noah was, so when this all goes to court, wouldn't there be witnesses to testify to who showed up on the highway along with Caden? Why would Caden lie about Mikey being there when that would be so easy to disprove since there were witnesses present? Let's see what the responses are first. Victor, we don't know. I mean, Caden could be lying to us. His story really doesn't make sense. Why do people lie? I don't know, but people do. Melanie. Where's Melanie? I don't know. I don't know who that. So Safia says, hi, Melanie. It's not adding up for me either at all. It used to be a picture was worth 1,000 words, but now with all the digital tools available like AI, Photoshop and others, sometimes a picture can leave you asking 1,000 questions. Fair enough, I get that. I agree with you about witnesses in court and why lie. I've always believed Caden's story. Maybe a few timestamps are a little off, but that wouldn't change much in the big picture. Well, it could. I don't know if I can go deep into it right now because I did use a lot of energy up last night. But I think when it comes to Caden Pressey's timeline, if one thing's incorrect, it could have a knock-on effect with later events that followed after that. So the earlier back or the closer to the start of Caden's timeline, if that's wrong, it has more knock-on effects afterwards. If it's later on in the timeline, it's got less knock-on effects. That's what I said. What do you mean? I'm not Victor Presgrove. Look, you can't get your feelings about Jack getting your way. I think Caden's lying to us. Oh no, some people think Victor's Victor Presgrove. No. This is a different Victor, a good individual. Tammy, I feel so sorry for you and your family. Wait, why? What's happened? I don't know. It just seems like there's like missing comments or something. Now I've got it adjusted to news. I think YouTube again, messing things about. I'm sorry, I don't know, but I don't believe Jack Newton. Honestly, Carl, I think Caden's mom Alicia was telling him what to say and that he could have caused him to mess up. He needs to take a polygraph just to clear up his story. I mean, from the Partners in True Crime interview, the public one, you can hear Alicia in the room in the background. I don't know if that means anything. I heard some talking at times and I saw Caden Pressey look off the camera, maybe towards her. Who knows? Oh, I don't know. Oh, and the other thing is, with that Partners in True Crime interview, there was a few jump cuts and edits, if you remember. So that's interesting. Carl, I don't know about all that, Mom involved, but I do think a polygraph test now would be very helpful. One day, I don't think Caden lied about Mikey being at the scene with him that morning. Neither do I. Look at all the conditions they made Ref agree to so he could use their fake photo. It's easy to overlay a timestamp. Me neither. I mean, I don't know, it just sounds like a hostage situation. But no, in all seriousness, as for all the conditions when it came to using that particular photo, the only conditions was to blur out the people's faces, and that was it. Still a very important restriction, I know. But as said, I saw it unblurred. So I saw the facial expressions, their faces, and were able to identify who was who. So it's not the end of the world, but, you know, I understand some people's frustrations or thinking it's so silly what one has to go through, jump through all these like little hoops to be able to get to somewhere or be able to use something. Fine, yeah. Can I really respond back to this overall comment? My mind's a little bit slow today. I still think the timestamp, the Snapchat one of Mikey asleep, Jasmine awake with thumbs up, and Logan hiding her face taking that photo. Why would Caden lie about Mikey being present? What's the point in doing that? Fair enough. Why would you lie about someone being present at the highway, where, in actual fact, supposedly, they're actually at the house, which is away from where Noah's body is? Why would you want to group someone with you? As an alibi? Or to defend them? But why would Mikey need defending? So it's a few questions like that. So when this all goes to court, wouldn't there be witnesses to testify to show who showed at the highway? Yeah, maybe. We got Brooke Carter says, great job, Raf. Well, I appreciate that. Good to know. Victor, I bet you like this video, lol, but Happy New Year. I think Caden has BS'd us. It's definitely one of his better videos. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Does that mean all the other videos are shit? Whatever. Not completely accurate, but getting closer to the truth. Oh, so that supposedly applies to me. I'm getting closer to the truth. Well, depending which way you look at it and from which side in the community, if one was to get a little bit closer to the truth, not quite accurate enough, Warlike Raf, but getting closer, will it lead to any resistance? Because, look, I came across resistance in the past, didn't I? So will that happen again? I guess time will tell. Brooke says, I'm just thankful Raf will look at all sides versus every other social media platform. Gives me hope for the kids. Happy New Year. And yes, he most definitely did. So it's good to know that Brooke Carter acknowledges that Warlike Ref looks at it from all sides, even if it's a particular side which may not be right or maybe against the likes of Brooke or other people. So whilst other people may have had encounters with Brooke Carter and others, and it seemed a little bit one-sided, or there was a breakdown in communication, or it felt a bit tense, and it wasn't really going anywhere in a positive direction, what I'm seeing here, to an extent, is a level of reasoning ability, and that's what's necessary within the case. We've got Robbie. Exactly. Warlike Ref definitely does not promote having an echo chamber like some of the others do. You can see he's looking for just the facts. And this is the thing. and I don't know if people pick up on it or not, but I've done it extensively in cases. There'll be times and moments where there might not be any facts or there may not be enough evidence. So along the way, you fill it up with theories and ideas. And people say it's not good enough, but it is, because it adds a bit of context, trying to understand what could be the reality. And then eventually, when evidence and material is found, it might link up with those theories, and if not, well, you can debunk it on the spot. Whilst talking about ideas and just trying to work things out, that naturally keeps cases alive anyway, just like when people leave comments on videos, channels, pages, and other platforms. But yeah, there might be other platforms out there where there's a certain hot theme or topic which people lock on to, but there's a bit of tunnel vision and it's a bit linear, meaning you miss out on things along the way. So that's why I go a bit slower, so I can pick up on the side bits. Carl says, agree with you about ref and looking at all the sides. Good to know. Going back to yesterday's live chat, hope you were not saying I was stalking you. I would not do that to anyone. I'm happily married. And Brooke says, no, you're good. I've just dealt with a stalker recently and I guess my senses are still high, so my apologies. You've always been very polite. Okay, there we go. So look, even here, as not silly, but as simple as it is, some basic human understanding. And I know some people could say, is this like alien-like communication? What's going on here? It's because when you look at other, situations in the community and elsewhere, it could be back and forth, it could be name-calling, it could be a bit destructive. But here, there's reflection, retrospective thoughts, there is introspection. It's all working, or at least in the moment it is. So you showed the slight positive sides within the community from certain angles. Not all hope's lost. Victor, I'm neutral on this case. Jack's timelines make more sense. Why would one of these guys lie? I don't know why, but young people like to play games. I do think some of the women following this case have a crush on Noah and have a dislike for Jack. Hopefully someone will come forward who knows what happened to Noah. Well, just as a reference point, Victor, because I have an extensive memory of stuff to the point of where I remember things, what other people said, and they themselves don't even want to admit it. But I do remember there was a time where you had that French viewer from Paris that had an agenda against me down the line, as we know. But before that did show within them, the true darkness, I remember Miriam ended up saying that making a reference to Jack Newton and Noah Presgrove being in a hot tub together, and Miriam described it as really hot, almost like fantasizing about it. I think we need to get a grip and focus at what's at hand and what's more important. Not two guys in a hot tub, but a hot topic and case which needs resolving. Now, along the way, there might have been some points made randomly where people have said that I look like Noah Presgrove. I mean, we had this situation back in the Dylan Rounds case where people said I look like Dylan Rounds, I am Dylan Rounds. That got a bit awkward. Not been as intensified this time round with the Noah Presgrove case, but I don't know why I seem to morph into all these people somehow. No clue why, but there we go. What else does Carl say? Thank you, Brooke. Robbie, agree with you. Someone calling him an Adonis in the chat the other day is just icky. He was young enough to probably be a majority of the people's kid. Wait, did someone actually call Noah an Adonis? I don't remember seeing that personally, but then again, maybe I wasn't present at the time. Yeah. I guess maybe indirectly, subconsciously, some people might say that I am this person or that person, or I look like him or them, just because of the age factor with me being only 24. I tend to be the youngest person with every case or mystery I get involved in, like when it comes to the community. Which is kind of funny. What does that mean? Everyone's going to be babysitting me? Oh no. But Victor says, yeah, I kind of saw that when this story first broke. If he wasn't a good-looking kid, would they still have the same opinions? Okay, like the equivalent as in if you're in a gym and there is a person that just so happens to be looking in a certain direction towards another person, and if the person who's looking in that direction appears really ugly, they'll be described as a creep, a weirdo, they need locking up. But if the person actually looks reasonable, maybe very muscular, oh, don't worry, you can look as long as you want. Some kind of like, you got double standards of some sort. Yeah. I mean, it's like with when you had the Dylan Rounds case and the Kylie Rodney one. Kylie Rodney was more popular, and a lot of people were saying, well, it's because 1, female, 2, blonde, 3, of a younger age. As for Dylan Rounds, a male, white, not as important. That's what the attitude was, which is a bit odd. Spencer, step back. Could be an old photo. Jack telling truth, big nose. Oh yeah. Yes, it's really weird. I took it that way as well. All good. Robbie, you just said what I didn't want to say. Sadly, I don't think this case would have received as much attention if he weren't the good-looking young athlete. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that have spoken positive of Noah Presgrove, even those that may not know him, just based off appearance, based off popularity. Yeah, to be honest, I actually remember it now, Robbie, where kind of like in the earlier days when I was covering the case, there was comments made by others saying, oh yeah, and when it comes to Noah, he could get anyone he wanted. He could, bang, bang, bang here and there and everywhere. It's like, whoa, calm down. It just gets a little bit dodgy, more dodgy than me. And that's saying something. Anyway, one day. Good job, Raf. Thank you for always making us aware. You're welcome. What do we have here? Because there'll be some interesting comments along the way. Lisa, hi Raf, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I was told by a very reliable source, but is it provided? The entire timeline has been manipulated. What entire timeline? Whose timeline? More than one? It is all off by 1 hour, at least. Don't you think it's kind of strange? Out of all the pictures that were posted, there's only 2 that have timestamps on them. Right. So out of all of them, there is only 2. Which ones are you referring to? The Snapchat one, and then what's the other one? Because, to be honest, how many am I aware of? Maybe, yeah, Caden Pressy recording Brylan slapping Noah. That timestamp was provided. And then the Snapchat one. And then Jasmine Milan with her snap. Well, Noah's missing 341. So there is more than 2, I'd say. Anyway, the fake rollover photo where they took a picture of Noah on the ground because he just got punched in the nose and he was bleeding at 2:42 a.m. Whoa. What's this all about? The fake rollover photo. I know we heard Caden Pressy make a reference about seeing a photo of the supposed rollover, or at least Noah with a bloodied nose, like the after effects of the rollover. But Caden also mentioned that, oh yeah, and the guy walked up to Noah getting closer, which would mean a video movement. But here, Lisa says it was fake. The actual injury was caused by Noah getting punched. But who punched Noah and why? It's the first time I've ever seen this mentioned before, so I'll be careful. Who walks up to somebody and takes a picture and a video of them on the ground with the bloody nose because they just got punched in the face? And the other photo timestamp was on Jasmine's supposed statement saying, well, Noah's missing at 3:41. Oh, but you didn't mention the one of Brylan slapping Noah at 1:05. That timestamp's been provided as well. Or has it been? Has it been on Facebook? Oh, shit. I'll also need to do a video of that then. Just to put a bit more into perspective, Carl. So why do you think they punched him and took a video of it? What the hell? Robbie, did this same reliable source tell you about the photoshopped pic of Jasmine saying Noah was missing? Oh no. Someone was just aching to box it out with him. It was all staged to make it look like a side-by-side accident. Such a dumb plan that came up with. Wait, so just by punching Noah, causing him to have a bloodied nose, before or after that they thought side-by-side, staged rollover. So what now? You got a staged side-by-side rollover on top of a staged body dump on top of a staged hit and run. Whoa, that's a lot of layers. Lisa says, no, I have several reliable sources. And fair enough, but it's just unfortunate that the sources can't be revealed. So there might be people that may doubt it to an extent. Carl, okay, so you think there was no accident or rollover? I thought Caden said he saw video or maybe a screenshot of the video of rollover. Yeah, that's basically how it was worded. Because Caden Pressey from his mouth said, oh yeah, I was shown a photo. There was a photo of a side-by-side rollover from a video. I do have a short clip of it on my channel anyway for people to rewatch. Lisa, yes, Caden saw the manipulated video, but Caden Pressey didn't know it was a staged photo with a fake timestamp on it just to get him and the public to believe there was a rollover accident. It never happened. These machines cannot roll over. It is ergonomically impossible. The wheels are spread too far apart widthwise. Plus, there are 4 wheels that are slightly slanted inwards. These things are roll-proof. Therefore, it never effing happened. Now, if there were a 3-wheeler, I'd say, sure, okay, there would have been a rollover. Absolutely, 3-wheeler rollover accidents happen all the time. Your information is mostly incorrect, so maybe you should check those reliable sources. I think it's rather raw, this. Stuff what I've never seen or heard before. May take a bit more time to digest and to see where it leads to, whether it fades away or it's reinforced in the future. But yeah, kind of interesting. Anyone watching right now, you can leave your comments down below to let me know what you think about a staged side-by-side rollover. What would be the point or purpose of that? If it's around the time of when Noah got punched and was on the ground with a bloodied nose but still alive, what's the point of that? Was that in the process of the murder? Lisa, has anybody else noticed that photo of Jasmine saying Noah is missing is the same exact photo of Jasmine with Jack resting his head on her back and Noah was standing to her left? It is the exact same photo, just edited. All she did was Photoshop out all the people that were standing around her. I always thought that photo of her saying Noah was missing was really strange. I thought, why would she be smiling and looking so happy? Well, out of all the photos that could have been taken, and if it was Photoshopped, why would she choose that particular one? Why not a different photo of herself, which may have showed her looking more straight-faced or upset to make it seem more natural and less questionable? In terms of the exact same photo, Jasmine with Jack Newton resting his head on her back. What is that photo? Does anyone know which one that is in reference to? Maybe I have seen it before, but can't remember. Someone called Dark Darling says, are you saying that the Noah is missing snap post at 3:41 was photoshopped? She took a picture of herself from the party and overlaid it on a picture of the porch. Am I understanding that right? Oh boy. Safia, I noticed something off about the photos of Jasmine. Yes. I mean, if it was supposedly photoshopped, are people only thinking about this now, or has it always been up for question and debate in the past? And how good or how badly photoshopped is it? Does it look like it's the work of a professional? I mean, besides her facial expression, which may not match the tone or the theme of the situation with Noah at the time, you know, if she was more straight-faced, would people be more or less likely inclined to think it's photoshopped? That girl, Lisa, now I don't believe that. Are you saying she photoshopped everyone out? All right, this is a little too far-fetched. Where can I see that picture you're talking about with Jack resting his head on her back? Never thought of that. Yeah, I would like to know what reference that is because I can't remember that taking place. Lisa, thank you for that chuckle. Sometimes comments strike me. Yes, I believe that is what I'm saying. I've never seen the two pictures side by side, but I was told it's one photograph of the group of them with Jack laying his head on her back because she's hunched over. Do you know which one I'm referring to? No, I don't really know. Is it a public photo or is it another private one? You could tell it was a photoshopped background because the slats of the house were all messed up behind her while she was all hunched over again. Does she have really bad posture or what? I don't know specifically, my friend. I would Google it, but my internet service is slow. Right. I know what photos you're talking about. These are two separate pictures. Right, so that girl, have you seen the photo? Is the photo public of what, Jack resting his head on Jasmine's shoulder of some sort? One is of them all standing inside the house. Noah is on her left, Carter on her right, and Jack leaning on Carter and Jasmine's back. Second picture is Jasmine with a white door with glass on the door behind her. The picture of her with the white door is the one that says Noah's missing, and that was taken outside on the front porch where I was able to determine that myself with my own little video analysis back then, which was very important. Robbie, why aren't even close to being the same? Why do you post such BS? All you had to do was to do a teeny bit of Googling before posting lies. This is what is wrong with this case. Right. I'd say things are a little bit unstable and wonky, but if we need to do a focused video in the future, reinforcing what Lisa says or debunking it, then it can be done. Victor, great video. Ken's story, not really believable. Jack's timeline makes more sense. If you take away some of the switches and changes with Jack's story, the simplicity of it, as in go to sleep at an early time, wake up at a later time, unaware of what's happened in between, quite simplistic, could be more believable. With Caden Pressey's a lot more details within, more rich, which is good, but more room for error, which is bad. What else do you have? Dark Darling. Believable? What reason does Caden have to lie about anything? Safia says, the problem I have with Caden is seems like a nice guy, but not exactly truthful, and leaves you asking why. Tammy, Jack, I wouldn't believe a word out of him. Victor responds to Darling, nobody has a reason to lie, but of course Caden and Jack are lying. I can't tell you why a young person would lie, but they do. I'm neutral in this case, but Jack's storyline makes more sense. I don't know Caden's mental state, but I have hard time believing him to take a polygraph. Well, there was a reference elsewhere about Caden Pressey. Was it like counselling or a psychiatrist? Something to do with that, like mental health, to help him. No, this, I think he should as well, along with his mama. What? Polygraph. Everyone should be fair game. No special treatment. M says, Jack lied. He told different stories to Noah's dad, his grandmother, News Nation, People Magazine, Noah's uncle by marriage, and Partners in True Crime. He also clearly stated that there was no video taken of the side-by-side rollover incident, which proves that whatever BS video that Caden was shown was not from that morning. Nana says, tell me what he lied about. The only thing he got wrong was the time he went to bed. Give me a list of his contradictions, please. Then I will give you a list of Caden's and we can compare. Ooh. M says, he lied about the time he went to bed. Well, that's already been mentioned. He lied about how long he and Carter had been dating. Okay, so from what I remember that being referenced was, Jack said he met Carter, like, been dating a couple of weeks before the party. But in the Partners in True Crime interview where Jack mentioned that, Ashley Chadwick, Robin Smith, Presco's family members responded by saying no, it was months before that. So that's what the supposed lie is. What else? That Jack lied about Noah taking his golf clubs back home when they remained on site. Right. What's the point lying about some golf clubs? That Jack lied about the lie detector test. He lied. Right, so the lie detector test was that he, claimed to have passed, but the actual results were inconclusive. Well, that's what some of Presgrove's family members have said from what they know of. Right. Jack lied about the fight or fights that he had with Noah. Oh, so you basically mean that it was a one-way fight and it was Noah in the wrong, but it turned out that it was the other way around, that it was Jack in the wrong for supposedly flirting with Noah's girlfriend. So Noah had every right to have an argument with Jack about that, but how Jack worded it in his interviews or responses was, it was like 50-50, we were both to blame, we both apologised. But, by pointing out a supposed lie by Jack by using a reference to Caden Pressey's timeline, who has also been criticised too, is it the right material to use to counter another counter person's point when it might not have much stability to begin with against another unstable person's timeline? Yeah. Anyway, what else? He lied about the fight that Avery had with Noah. Why? What's the before and after? He lied about who told Caden Pressey to get the F out of there, the scene. He lied about the conversation that he had with Noah's Aunt Robin. He lied about Carter being asleep with him when Noah went missing. These are some of the documented lies that came out of his own mouth. Let's not get into what we think he lied about. Right, so I think what would be good is to say, yes, he lied about this, he lied about that, and this and that, and this and that. Can you provide maybe some quotes? Roughly what I did myself just then in regards to what he once said and then what he stated later. Just like what we saw, just like what I demonstrated myself single-handedly when it came to Colton Newton, that said, oh yeah, I was at the party, and then later said, no, I wasn't there at all, neither was Travis. And it was going so back and forth all over the place, retracting, hiding, also then saying, oh yeah, as for JJ Bumpass, yeah, I said he was at the party based off the phone ping, but no, by the way, he wasn't there. No, he wasn't. What a massive turnaround that was. All documented, before and after. That's what you need. It's okay saying someone's lying, but if you can do like a before and after little screenshot of what was stated from the horse's mouth and how it differs the next time, I think that'll go a long way. Glenn, mess for sure. Kathy, Caden Pressey has been told what to say. I think so too, hence why he messed up at times. So if Caden Pressey is given a script, why? Because people want to protect Caden? Is Caden aware that he's supposed to be following a script? Does he want to follow the script? I mean, in fairness, when it came to the Partners in True Crime interview with Jack Newton and maybe the News Nation one, people were saying how he sounded robotic. He sounded like he was reading from a script. There was that as well. Michael Facecast. I'm wondering if the only reason they're sharing the photo, the Snapchat one of Mikey Les asleep, the way they are is because the metadata would show it has been altered if they sent the original one from the phone in the picture. I mean, that phone that was being held in the hand, was that the phone that had the original photo on? Or was it the phone which the person was holding with their hand to take the photo of the other device that actually had it on? That girl says, what are you talking about? Do you sincerely think this picture would be shown if they know Ellie can find manipulation to a picture? You will literally deflect anything that doesn't go with your narrative. I'll ask again, where is the data that Alicia Lee, also known as Alicia Pressey, had done from Caden Pressey's phone? You know, the one that people donated money for. If you honestly believe that is the reason for showing this picture, then you're dumber than I thought. Why did you get quiet in the live chat? You have some serious issues, just like Justin. And Brooke says, he really is dumber than you thought, I assure you. That girl says, without doubt, these weirdos stop at nothing. Michael Facecast says, I got quiet in the live because I was working. I have a life outside of this for your information. Why not share the actual image, a picture of a picture, lol? This is far from exculpatory. Why release it now and in this format? Well, supposedly it was released in recent time because the phones were just handed back to, I guess, partygoers by the police, which they held onto the phones for some time. Supposedly. Yeah. I question every piece of evidence, but this would not even be accepted as evidence in court because it lacks foundation, a chain of custody. I also do not accept it. I'll remain open-minded, but with everything that's been released on this case, this is the most unreliable piece of evidence to date. The most unreliable piece of evidence. And then you've got Dina Rose, which is given VIP access to Facebook pages, capital letters stating, oh yeah, it's coming to an end, the case is going to be solved, we know who's responsible, we've got video footage of the people recording beating Noah down and attacking him and blood here and there, and it's brutal and it's very upsetting and it's changed people's lives forever after watching it, and yeah, it's really hard hitting and, you know, strong evidence. Where did that end up? Where did it go to? And then you had Dina Rose, where was calling out bump ass for being here or there, and he wasn't even in the city at the time, and Dina Rose was wrong about that, and supposedly Dina was supposed to be told off and kicked out by someone from one of the Facebook pages, but remained. And ever since, they have gone quiet, so what is going on there? Was that just a load of hearsay? I mean, the way I see it, and it might not be good enough, is, and I've applied it to other cases in the past, if you got some hard evidence, like a screenshot, a photo, a video, a level of effort has gone into it to present it to someone to prove, reinforce a point or counter debunk another. Like with the Kenny Veach case, material to suggest that Kenny Veach is still alive, caught on camera or made a phone call at some point when reaching out to another family member, and other people said, oh, it's BS, it's rubbish, doesn't make any sense, it's not true, it's wrong. But guess what? At least some people are trying to provide some kind of material. I know, granted, whether you think it's for the right reasons or an agenda, but still, being able to work with something is better than nothing. What else do we have? Chain of custody. Do you know that Ellie has? This is not new. Just never released to the public. This was only displayed on this platform to correct lies that are being told. Do you also know that 5 phones were handed over to LE immediately? Do you think all the data was pulled from those phones? People are so quick to say, well, why don't so and show proof. How can 5 of them show anything if they didn't have their phones? People will say, well, so-and-so changed the time in the snap picture video. How when they give up phones immediately? Do you think the case Ellie would be able to tell? But since you want to say chain of custody, I would assume everything you have posted has been verified by Ellie. So basically what that girl is saying is that supposedly 5 phones were handed over to the police immediately, whoever they are, party goers. So, for example, those 5 phones by those 5 different people wouldn't have had any time to manipulate anything anyway, because they were handed over so quickly. But what was the time frame of them being handed over? Same day, next day of Noah's death, within that week or 2? What else? Also, lack of foundation. How do you know what will be allowed in as evidence in court? That's a crazy thing to say. I mean, unless you are a judge, the judge has the say of what to allow in. Not some random person like you. I'll let you in on some information. If a warrant was issued for snaps, videos, pictures, texts, etc., that is called evidence, and it's absolutely admissible in court. Nana says, you have to remember he's the one that went to prison. He has no knowledge or care for the law or how the court system works. Some get rehabilitation and some will still spin the truth no matter how ridiculous it sounds. Lack of accountability and integrity. It's pretty sad how narrow-minded one can get. Okay. Lisa, yay, I'm so glad you're getting into the timeline illusion a little deeper. I was going to bring it up right before the holidays. Fair enough, you got busy. This video is so awesome. What is wow to me is I see things in my head and then a few days later or weeks later, you do a video confirming what I've been told. Confirmation signs are always good. Well, I'm glad you liked the video and that you watched it. As for your other comments about the side-by-side and it being faked or staged and then Noah being punched in the nose, sounds very interesting, but at this moment in time, I'll just take it in mind. Let's just move on. AF, is this the only picture that was taken as proof? Robbie says, of course not. It's just only one shared for now. And Brooke says, no, there are plenty more photos. What, of the particular situation with Mikey or the party and beyond after? Sounds interesting. That girl, thank you, Ref. Great video. I'll try to pipe down in the live chat next time. No promises. Ooh, that girl, naughty individual. Magnifying glass as a profile picture. But no, that's fine. So you're welcome. And it's good that you found the video interesting. I don't remember that girl being problematic in the chat, so it's fine. If you got points to mention or you need to defend yourself, that's fine, and applies to everyone else. Melanie says, can't the police get Snapchat to verify the actual times of any snaps? You'd hope to think that they already have, possibly, early on. Michaela says, if more people from the party told their versions, we'd probably have even more different timelines by now. I think both of them gave incorrect information for whatever reason. There we go. That's an interesting comment. Like I mentioned earlier on, some people could think that Jack and Caden are both wrong. So then you've got to look beyond and see what the other people have to say. We've just not had that chance. What's this? Does it actually take 10-15 minutes from the highway spot to the party house? I always thought it was just down the street, like a 5-minute drive. And why can't Renee just look at her phone's call logs to give an actual timestamp rather than just giving an estimated range? Yeah, the estimated range is a little bit piss poor, I understand. That girl says, no, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes at most to get from the party house to the scene of where Noah's found. See, I use 10 to 15 minutes as a very rough one because I'm sure people made a reference to about 10-15 minutes in the past in regards to other people making it there and back, right? If it's like a mile or just under 2, it really shouldn't take that long, especially if you're in a vehicle. So, yeah. What else? Did he move to couch at some point after this picture or was in bed with the ladies when Jack Newton came back to the house to tell the others the news? The royal blue shirt of Logan stand out to me just because I've not seen that colour shirt in any of the pictures or videos. And as for Jasmine Milan, in which I said it looked like a pink shirt, and then I think Jam said, nope, that's not true, that's not correct, she was wearing something else. Take in mind the actual colour of the phone screen or the screenshot had like a reddish, bright contrast. It is where it is. Got to take in mind that people can change clothes at a party as well. And furthermore, when I look at the party footage, at least the publicly viewable stuff, which was that small compilation from the Daily Mail and, little bits in between, I don't really see Logan in the videos, or it might just be hard to identify who's who, because some of the people can look similar to one another. If they've got dark hair, they've got glasses on or not. Some can look kind of similar. But I've not really seen enough footage of some of the party goers to match up with that particular Snapchat post. The only consistency you would say is when it comes to Mikey Lair asleep in bed with no shirt on, very consistent with how he's appeared in that one other clip, the short one with Brown and Sweat introducing him as Mike Tyson, right? So there's that. What's this one? This is by Lorraine. There's something that have continually ate at me. One, if you read all the interviews done by the people, that article with Tyler Hardy, Jack Newton, and the undersheriff Jimmy Williams, they all state that there was no one else that came to the scene whilst they were there. Okay? There was only the 2 truckers, 2 volunteers, firefighters, Tyler Hardy, or the other Tyler H, and Jack Newton, and then the sheriff. Tyler H even states he didn't leave until 10-something in the morning. We all know that's not true. Noah's father, brother, Jack Newton's father, and more volunteers all came to the scene before 10, plus other people like Renee Milan and Kane Pressey and the boys say they were there too. At different times though, right? What the hell is this all about if they lied about that? We know they lied about more already, including no one messed with anything. And then in the interview, it comes about Jack Newton moving Noah's shorts and early and the whole time. What? I mean, as for Tyler Hardy, if he was suspicious or if he was hiding something, for him to call into the police along with the other Tyler and be present and remain on scene, they must be very confident that they can hide something. With the idea of being first on scene and nobody messing with Noah's body whilst they were there, that may be true. But it's who was there before that, and that's where it links more with Caden's timeline. TH is suspicious to me. He has been since day one. Really. If Tyler H is so suspicious, do you think it was normal for him to call the police, or do you think it would have made more sense not to call police? I mean, at least basing it off Caden Pressy's timeline, that pair of truckers, different individuals earlier, supposedly didn't call police whatsoever. They would come across as more suspicious, wouldn't they? If Caden's timeline's somewhat true. What else? Jack Newton's father, Caleb himself, says after talking to Jack Newton, he called his father and then picked him up and headed to the scene. Then there's no more mention of him. Where did Jack Newton's grandfather go? There's no mention of him after that. Did he go to the house? He's gone. Yeah. Tree, in the interview with the undersheriff, he states in his interview that the reason he called more volunteers in and not more LE was because he didn't want to cause more chaos. So, to get this right, he's saying that bringing in volunteers who aren't trained to investigate death scenes would be less chaotic than bringing in more LE whose job is to do so, not buying it. Who's he, though? It's just it's all broken up, these comments. He. Who's he? Number one, you read all the interviews done by people. It's hard to keep up with all the comments all over. Julie, another amazing video. Appreciate that. Lorraine, by the way, Warlock Raft, great video once again. Please keep whittling away at the case. Thank you. Much appreciated. That's good to know. I think at the moment there's a little bit of an overload with all the comments and posts, but I'm sure when I do my own future individual video breaking stuff down, it probably won't be as bad. I mean, to be honest, when I think of it now, when it comes to previous cases that I've done and there's been like some breaking news on material and the story's being told, maybe from different perspectives or worded in different ways, so it sounds like different stuff, it gets very heavy and it feels complex. People make it harder upon others. So then when I finally do break into it and I'm like, okay, it's really not that complex at the end of the day. It's just how it's been told by several different people. I'll try and apply that later on in this case, if possible. And Lorraine also says, Warlike Ralph, you stated in this picture that Jasmine Milan's hair was messy. Well, yes. In terms of it being messy, yes, definitely. Stating it was wet, that was more so a loose reference by myself, not with absolute confidence. It was more so the colouring and also more so subconsciously, which was not outwardly expressed enough, so apologies about that, but it just more so reminded me retrospectively at 3:41 when her hair did look more visibly wet and there was wet patches on her shirt. That is what I was referring to more so than the photo with Mikey and Logan, okay? I can understand Lorraine's reasoning with the closeness of the possible time stamps. It wouldn't really remain wet for that long then. But 3:41, there was clearly wet patches, and I was the first one to point that out, and the location and the timing of it, reinforcing Jasmine being present with Carter and Noah when Noah was having his shower earlier. As for the 5:27 photo, unless they had a shower themselves at a later point, because I think it was Jack Newton that said at such and such a time, Monday, people would be getting ready to have a shower, everyone all having a shower before going to bed. Maybe there's that, but you got to take in mind that wetness will only remain for so long because based off the temperatures there at the time, quite dry and warm, things may evaporate quicker. Beth, anyone know why this video wasn't shown before now? We all know the partygoers had plenty of time to show this before their phones were court-ordered to be turned over. Is it because it's one of those things where there's certain footage which can't be publicly released immediately until there's like a green thumbs up from authorities, just so you don't have any legal issues, or so it doesn't like damage the potential evidence if it's that important. Maybe. Bear says, did it take them all this time to learn how to change the date and timestamp of the video? I wonder if Mr. IT Timmy, who the hell's that, helped them out. Just an observation. Beth, I agree. I would like to know why publicly show this particular snap now. I mean, if the reasoning was it couldn't be done beforehand because the devices which had that material on were in the hands of the police, then I guess you couldn't post it. And if, or as a separate point, you were waiting for the thumbs up confirmation to be able to post or say this online, and the police give you permission to do so, it might be a waiting game. I know, just one perspective at least. The other Dutton. They have all been working diligently building the kids don't know kids can't do anything about phones, tech, etc. narrative for months, and now failed the receipt shows up. The wording is the kids are not IT professionals. It doesn't take an IT expert to overlay a timestamp. Melanie, Michael posted a screenshot of a message where he was asked about changing the metadata for that exact picture and admitting that it's a doctored photo. If this is true, these people need to go to jail now. I sincerely hope their lies catch up with nowhere to run, no more excuses. Sonny, showing that picture with your belt, that was funny. That's good to know. Getting down to the key details. Keep on going. Appreciate that, will do. Safia, great coverage, very important topic. We got Pop. Hold on, let's click on that. Great work, Raf. Best for a long time. People will also say great vid, but give no credit to who lit the fuse for it. Brooke, just glad I'm not emotionally invested like the people in the chat. Getting a bit nasty. Can get a bit tense. Nana says, I agree. Thank you, Brooke, for sharing this. Thank you for standing strong for the truth. This helps with all the nasty comments made by many when one started questioning Caden and Alicia, although apologies should be given, we know will never happen. Thank you for the reply. We might not agree on everything, I'm sure, but I'm always going to praise those that put in positive actions to help the convo. I wish the bitchy attacks in the chat would stop. It's why I rarely watch live premieres. What I do know is Raf is so good at remaining unbiased. Sure, he has personal opinions, but he never brings his own thoughts into it. So professional people need to follow his lead. Peace to you all. Okay, appreciate that, Pop. That's all good. I mean, do I share personal opinions right now? Well, I could roughly do it. There's documented proof of Jack lying. Caden Pressey may not be the brightest kid, but from my observation, he's the most honest of the friend group. Honesty is a very good thing, but consistency is also just as important. No, most honest. Did you watch the parts in True Crime in its entirety, including the part they changed their mind on sharing and listened to police interview? That boy gave multiple contradictions and they were only weeks apart. I thought it was more so a month or so, or close to. I watched all of them. I believe he recounted events to the best of his ability, and evidently so does Noah's family. As a matter of fact, his account was so much closer to the truth that it made kids produce photoshopped and doctored videos to discount his story. It also made Jack and JJ pull up on the kid and send social media messages to try to threaten him into changing it. You people spend more time picking apart Caden Pressey's timeline than you do Jack's story about his whereabouts during the time frame that Noah was murdered. The only person that corroborates his claims of being asleep is his girlfriend. Or did she? My personal thoughts in regards to Caden Pressey being over-questioned or over-criticised, that's only because he's been put out there more, to an extent putting himself out there more, but then also being on the unfortunate end of the interview being leaked. I'm sure equally, if anybody else did the same thing as Caden Pressey and spoke more publicly and possibly had an interview leaked too, then the same level of focus and intensity on Caden would also apply to other party goers. And if not, I would at least, to maintain that balance. But close to Caden, Got to understand that Jack has been criticised a lot as well, and as well insulted too. Some people could say, well, Jack brought it upon himself in regards to some of that, but still, quite criticised. Yeah. And, with stories changing, that may not help either. But still, I don't think it's all about Caden. Other people have been, maybe call it attacked or questioned or maybe undermined. I don't know if it's the best time to say it, but just in general, there could be the pattern and theme of either playing the victim card or turning someone into a victim, just like how in the past it's been, let's put somebody on a pedestal when they can do no wrong. And even if there is a slight little tarnish, well, we'll forget about it and turn a blind eye. And then if the odd person comes along and makes that observation that, that golden boy or that golden poster, whatever you want to call it, isn't that great, and there are some imperfections along the way, and then you get banished, and then you get punished, and then you get blocked, and you get kicked. Like an unnatural force, almost like bowing down, not being a bit absent-minded. Could the same happen with treating someone as a victim when they're really not? Or someone playing the victim when they know that they're not? More manipulation along the way and tactics too. Who knows? I think as long as you focus more on just the case and the time of when it unfolded then and not so much now, so you don't get caught up in all the current stuff and external drama and conflict and outcomes with other people, not to redirect focus elsewhere. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. I didn't want to go too deep today because I think honestly last night was a really deep video, tying it all together, and hopefully I can do another focused one like that. But I did see a handful of posts on Facebook too, may crossover with some themes of recent time in my video as well. But I thought, save that for a separate video, so there's absolute focus on a particular point of view. There was also, a transcript from the Partners in True Crime interview with Jack Newton over the phone, where Jack states certain things, not just being one person, but multiple seen nowhere. We can get to that in a separate video. Might be some overlaps with what I might have mentioned in the past, but there's no harm in checking for the consistency and to see what other people think, whether they agree or not. Has anything been solved? Or are we any closer towards the truth? Probably not, but in terms of taking certain steps in seeing more photos, videos and media of the party, what went down at the time, there's a bit more learning there. And with the reference of there's more material out there which could be released in the future, could be passed on, that could be a positive. Now, what else was I going to say? I think there was one particular point, but then I kind of left my mind. I mean, it was more so to do with the timing of when things may have happened back then. Maybe more so the interview of Caden Pressey's being leaked? I think it's like a reference to a comment on my video just recently about Caden Pressey's possible interview being leaked by someone as a means to discredit him or to make it not as more damaging or not applicable in the case or for court, because it's been released public when it should have been private, but also in aims of learning about the interview to see what was actually said in it and what was mentioned and the timestamps to then use it to back up or counter when it comes to a future point with the Snapchat post which has come about in recent time. Got to take in mind, as said, yeah, the photo has come out just recently. The timestamp of the photo did come out some months ago. So there's been a bit of gap in between, but there was an attempt made by some people to counter Caden's timeline a few months earlier. Just that the photo couldn't be publicly released at the time, or if there's any additional factors that those that are in possession of the photos felt they didn't trust, or they didn't know the best place to put them, or they didn't feel that they could rely on somebody else in a way to be able to get that message across on a wider platform and scale and done and said in the right way, so then more people can see it in a particular outlook. Could be. But I just wanted to do this like little rough, raw, rugged video as well to acknowledge people's comments and what people have had to say recently. Shout out to everyone that has watched the videos in recent time into the new year and commented on the last one too, because there's a lot of engagement there and a lot of discussions. I'm sure more will follow with time. As for Lisa's comments, very eye-opening. As for the sources, unknown, which is disappointing. Whether that be mentioned, talked about on Facebook at some point. I just thought it was reiterating it today so nobody misses out on it. So I think that'll do for now. My name's Warlight Ref. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and good night.